look into the economic impact, people put the Super Bowl in a conversation with ASAE.
This could affect Indianapolis for the next decade. One weekend to shape a decade. Okay.
95% is really incredible to have that kind of a buy-in of an entire industry.
What is the value prop for an association in 2025? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. If you've been hunting for a brunch spot that understands food allergies and has bold flavors, look no further than Fire and Ice Cafe in Indianapolis. This hidden gem serves up European-inspired dishes that are entirely gluten-free. They're also completely free from peanuts, tree nuts, soy, sesame, fish, and crustaceans. We're talking biscuits, sandwiches, crepes, falafel bowls, pastries, and of course, all your favorite brunch drinks, crafted with serious care and a whole lot of flavor. Whether you've got food restrictions or are just interested in great taste, this place is a must visit. Seriously, I don't have dietary restrictions, but the food actually rocks here. You definitely need to check it out. Grab your brunch crew and head to Fire and Ice Cafe at 6211 Allisonville Road, and your taste buds are gonna thank you. Now let's dive into the episode. Today I'm joined by Cory Martin, CEO of Mission Control, an association management company based right here in Indianapolis. He also serves as the executive director for both the Indiana State Police Alliance and the American Academy of Sports Physical Therapy. Known for his down-to-earth leadership style and commitment to nonprofits, Cory helps organizations across Indiana grow, govern, and thrive. Today we're going to be talking through Indiana's nonprofit history, association meetings and events, and those are way cooler than they might sound. Trust me, you're going to want to hear that. And talk about associations' connection to economic development right here in the Hoosier State. Cory, welcome to Get In.
Thanks, Nate. Really appreciate it.
Dude, I'm excited for this one. It's going to be super fun. We connected, I mean, it might have been 2 or 3 months ago
Probably,
now. And you guys have been rocking and rolling, super busy. You were just saying like event season is in full swing.
It is, big time.
Conventions and association meetings are a little different. And we're going to get into that a little bit as we go on, where some of the biggest events that we host right here in Indianapolis aren't necessarily conventions, or they're actually association meetings.
Yeah.
So if you stick around until about halfway through the show, you're going to hear some of the cool association meetings that we're hosting. But before we get there, we got to talk about Indiana's rich nonprofit history. Yeah. And where did this hub of nonprofit activity really start?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, it really started in the 60s and 70s when nonprofits were building brick and mortar buildings and they're wanting to get out of DC per se. So Chicago and DC really have continued to be the hub of nonprofit management, but then Indianapolis started creating incentives, certainly tax-based incentives, land incentives to draw nonprofits here, and that has lasted throughout history. And so you saw a huge fraternal movement.
I was going to say,
we mentioned it in the walk-in, but I'm a part of a fraternity, and we were one of those that moved from Kansas City to Indianapolis and built a building here.
If you roll around town, you'll see those like fraternity style headquarters all over the place, especially like that north side of Indy, like a little bit.
The pyramid area was kind of that first big start, a ton, and it was really the land-based incentives, from my understanding, to draw those organizations in. We're also middle of the country, as everybody knows, and easier to get around. So, by car, it was easy to just have a staff be able to drive through all these college campuses around the country.
When did working in the nonprofit sector become less of a hobby and more of a career?
Yeah, a great question. I think my biggest statement when people ask that is nonprofit management is a tax strategy, not a business plan. So when you're looking at it from a business standpoint, they're operating the exact same way as for-profit companies. The tax incentives and the tax strategy is what is different about that.
Okay, so explain that to me as not an accountant, and I don't know the tax strategy. Like, talk to me about the a little bit into the weeds there.
Especially with our client group, there are differences with each group. If it's the 501c status, everyone talks about a 501c3 that's the most coveted because of its tax advantages. That's usually the foundations that are associated with the membership group. The membership groups are really 501c4s or 501c6s. Again, it's a tax allocation, but that certainly creates incentives for the organizations from a tax standpoint.
I got you. Yeah, because you want to get 501c3 status, and then when people donate to you, it's a write-off at the end of the year, all that fun stuff. Yeah. Okay, so this started like kind of heating up in the 60s and 70s?
From my perspective, just the more what I consider the brick and mortar, where you started seeing a lot of organizations expand that way. And then Indianapolis as a city got extremely aggressive. And from what I could see, I'm a history buff, I'm an Indy guy, born and raised on the South Side. So in looking into this, I think William Hudnut, Mayor Hudnut, back when he was really focusing on just rapid growth for Indianapolis, gave crazy incentives to lure nonprofits in as a huge advantage. And it worked. I mean, we got the NCAA. That was before his time, but NCAA came to
Are they
Indianapolis.
a nonprofit?
The NCAA is also an association.
Oh.
It is, yeah, technically.
Okay, so and then when you're talking through association, nonprofit, like the differences are like, because we're going to touch on both of them today.
Yeah.
And so gotta give us just like a pros, cons, I don't know, the differences between those two.
Traditional nonprofit or an association.
Yeah.
Well, they're one and the same.
Okay.
So associations are nonprofits.
Got you.
I haven't seen anything other than that.
Okay. So association is a nonprofit. You pay a membership due to be a part of this association. What are a few that people would know about?
Yeah, I mean, here in town, I mean, FFA is certainly one that's thriving.
Yeah.
That's massive. And
That's an association.
It is.
Okay, so they do host like a big event,
They do.
like a convention.
Yeah.
But like Gen Con is not necessarily an association.
Correct. That's
Gen Con is
exactly
just a
right.
convention.
Exactly
Whereas FFA is like they bring their paid members to because it's like a private thing. You can't just like come off the street and
Exactly
go to
right.
FFA program.
Exactly right. I think the biggest thing for me is think of an expo hall, like the candy convention that comes to town and some of the large expos that you see. That exposition is why people are there to meet and engage with things that have to do with their industry, right? A membership association is typically there to learn and to network and grow. And so it's more of an education focus with breakout rooms and education rather than a giant expo hall where you're engaging with clients and vendors and things like that. That's
How
the big
did you
difference.
get into this space? Because
Yeah.
now with Mission Control, you're helping lots of nonprofits and not lots of associations, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. So I got into it really in college. I just found this pathway forward, and luckily I went to Indiana University, Indianapolis, and we had a really good program there focused in nonprofit administration. And once I could, get in, have some internships, get some experience, I realized this is definitely something that I want to be in. And I think I chalk it up as this. I am definitely a generalist versus a specialist. I could not do one thing 40 hours a week. There's no way. I've got to have the different buckets and the different things going on, i.e. marketing, event management, finance, those different areas. I love going in and out of each of those areas. That's what nonprofit management provides you rather than being a specialist doing one thing.
Yeah, because the staff's small and the budget's
That's
like
exactly right.
usually
You have
small
to,
too.
yeah.
You have to
You have
be
to-
the jack of all trades,
And
master
a
of none.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
And it's like as you think starting a business, like getting out, what drew you to go start Mission Control versus just like finding one nonprofit that you loved and pouring into that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing, and it's really what is our industry for association management, is having a staff have multiple hats as well. So, for example, we're using, part staff for multiple clients to make this work. So you have 3 clients that have half of a staff for communications, half of a staff for event management, but they can share staff amongst the groups. That's the way we make it work.
So it's like fractional support.
It's fractional support for nonprofits. That's exactly what we are.
If you get enough volume, where it's like, hey, a graphic designer,
Yeah.
you like, let's say that's like a very niche spot,
Yeah,
but
but
like
yeah.
10 nonprofits need 10% support from
Correct.
a graphic designer.
Correct.
Like
and that
one thing a
graphic
month.
designer could be designing banners and posters for their meeting for this client, this client, this client.
Health and wellness nonprofit versus the Doctors Association, like the way that they need to operate are they similar or are they very different?
From a nonprofit standpoint, probably different, especially if it's a 501c3 foundation that's raising funds. That's vastly different than what we're traditionally doing most of the time.
Okay, so
We're on the
traditionally, what are you
association
working
side.
on? On the associate?
Membership engagement, membership development. I mean, we're interacting with members that are dues-paying members every day. That's what we're really doing. So it's hosting events for those members. It's the financial back-end operations to ensure their member dues are collected and dispersed, things like that. So those are the things we're doing, really the member engagement part of it.
What are some of the biggest membership organizations that you're working with?
Yeah, the Sports Academy is one. So the American Academy of Sports Physical Therapy. It's
Yeah.
just shy of 7,000 sports physical therapists all around the country. And we're headquartered here in Indiana at our office in Fountain Square. And so think of professional teams. That's what it gets me going because I love sports. And, I'm interacting with our board members who are active physical therapists and part of the medical teams for the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Bruins and things like that, which is really cool. And so I'm engaging with them when we're on Zoom calls and team meetings. They've got players walking behind them in these locker rooms, and so it's really cool.
That
It's
is really cool.
So
And that's like such a like very niche.
It
But when
is.
you say it, it's like, oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And you think that you're a part of these associations because you want to learn the best practices to develop remedies or healing strategies
Yeah.
or whatever. Get people back into playing the game quicker.
Totally.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's and especially in the city of sports, right?
Yeah,
Like
totally.
Being headquartered just makes sense. And that's one more additional item. Like everyone knows about the big sporting, teams and all this stuff and the events that we host, but also the associations that are tied to sports that are here. Okay,
Big
so you're working
time.
with them. Who else are you working with?
Yeah, I mean, the Indiana State Police Alliance, we mentioned them and their affiliation with the National Troopers Coalition.
Was that like one of your first entry points?
That was. So they hired me to be their standalone executive director in 2017, and that's what really started this whole thing for me.
Yeah.
Realizing that we had a very small, limited staff, and I needed to grow, and in order to do that, what made the most sense was to add other groups on that paid for staff that needed staff support. So when I realized I could serve in that capacity to lead both organizations, but the support staff underneath of it could be shared, then both organizations benefited from that shared staff model. And
Yeah.
then it just
What got you
duplicated
plugged
and
in
things
with
like that.
the state police?
Quite frankly, I applied for the job.
Yeah.
I knew some friends that were either troopers or on the administrative team. And at the end of the day, I really just applied for the job. And I was fresh out of grad school and applied for the job. And the guy that got me the job was president for 7 years. So Scott Kruger, he's an active trooper right now. And Scott always said, I was in the no pile, back in the yes pile, in the no pile, back in the yes pile. And eventually it was one of those, luck of the draw, and I got the job. So I had to prove myself and did it.
Yeah, and so what does the Indiana State Police Alliance? What are they focused on?
We're not a union, but we flirt with being a union in regards of really taking care of the members being state troopers. 95% or so of active Indiana State Troopers are members of the Alliance.
Is that like across industries? How does that compare?
No, it's we're pretty unique in that.
Because it's a lot?
It is.
Okay.
95% is really incredible to have that kind of a buy-in of an entire industry. It's incredible. And it's become such a need for the troopers in Indiana, so that's why they join. It's not really a want that this is, I want to be a part of it or I want to be affiliated with it, which is a challenge in association management with membership decline right now, quite frankly. Creating that need for the industry is what is getting them to sign up for it.
Well, and why is it a no-brainer for troopers to be a part of this?
So the general member benefits and the way we offer these benefits, whether it be special requests, benevolent type work. When I say benevolent type work, it's if I just had this happen this week. I actually just sent the email this morning where a trooper off duty had an issue with their house, a personal issue. It was a gas leak, and the family had to evacuate, get a hotel, have some incidentals, and get back in a couple days when the situation was solved. So when that happens, though, we have a fund that can support members. And so it's called our benevolent fund. So we can issue payment to members kind of in that capacity of a foundation to be able to support them with these off-duty type things. Our line of duty death benefits are absolutely incredible from our standpoint, but I've had to do that in my time with the State Police Alliance, delivering a check to a widow of a trooper that was just killed in the line of duty.
That's impactful, but that's
extremely
hard.
impactful. I mean, being in those living rooms, it's life-altering type stuff.
Who goes into that
It's
room
typically
with you?
the head of the state police usually, or our direct affiliation being one of our representatives on the board, our president, and myself. It's a really small group, and it's all based on typically the trooper's family and their friends, which are usually coworkers and other troopers, working with them to identify what the best time is. And in some cases, which is everyone's different, as you know, I mean, everyone's different when it comes to the family tragedies. It could be day of when it's just like going a mile a minute and nobody remembers the details of the day and the incident, or it could be 2 weeks later.
What do
it just all depends.
We're going to dive into this a little bit. What do the benefits look like if a state trooper is?
When I started, it was like $1,000 for a dependent child, family member under 18. It was $2,500 for a spouse and $25,000 for a trooper. And we doubled all those over the years of fundraising and just being aggressive on building up our foundation.
So if a trooper dies
in line of duty, it's a $50,000 check that I hand to the spouse.
And that's just from the association.
Just from the association.
That is not from also like you think through the city or the state or whatever. Like there's other benefits. This
Absolutely.
is just so.
Typically
for that 95% that are association
exactly
members.
Right, and we designed it that way to be no question to ask. This is to get you through those incidentals, because as I've learned in this job, it's unfortunate that there are a lot of things that come up, upfront costs. And funerals, people just assume the funerals are paid for. They're not. Some of these funerals are, quite frankly, events, and I say that with the decency of saying it's an event. There's a lot of people that come in from other states and sometimes even other countries. I mean, these police funerals are thousands of people sometimes. And so there's a lot of costs that go along with that. And it's not just paid up front. The bill is usually delivered to the widow. And that's terrible. And so when I can offset that bill and at least get them breathing room to grieve, that's my job. And that's what we want to do.
Take me back to the first time you had to walk into one of those living rooms.
I was 28, 29.
Just out of grad school?
Just out of grad school. Not a trooper myself, not in law enforcement. And so, I mean, I leaned on all the people in that room, and I was there to facilitate what I possibly could. But as I got more involved in the organization and became really good friends with these people, I feel a part of that entire community. And so they get harder and harder because now it's to the point where this is almost my 8th year with the Indiana State Police Alliance, and knowing troopers on a daily basis, it's to the point where I know some of these people very well, very, very well. I mean, traveling with them to conferences and going to sporting events with them and hanging out as friends. And then the notion that they could get killed in the line of duty tomorrow is wild, absolutely wild.
Yeah, man. That's when you applied for that job and you're bouncing back between the no and the yes. I don't know if that's like what you thought you're going to end up doing, and then you walk into one of those living rooms, and it's a life-changing moment.
It is.
And you kind of look around, it's like, is everyone else like in dress blues and all that? And you're like just wearing your suit.
This is it, wearing a suit, usually suit and tie, but I mean, that's definitely one of those things. And so
it's awesome to be able to make an impact like that. And I love, like, that is one that's like they're going to get taken care of from the state side of it too, but also the association side. Mm-hmm. And there's other scholarship funds. So we just had Folds of Honor and they were talking about how they do scholarships for the children of first responders and veterans. Yeah. And it's just like, there's a lot of organizations like that are helping support when one of these tragedies happens. Yeah. But it can't be easy to be in there.
It can't be at all. But we have those. I mean, I'd go on and on about our benefits. What I was saying about the benefits, it's immense. We do a lot for a nominal member due. $15 a paycheck is what they pay into this to get all these benefits, and it's a no-brainer. If I were a trooper, I would absolutely sign up for the Indiana State.
Yeah, it's like the other. I didn't even realize this, but I had one of the largest associations, Indiana's. I don't know. I think his name's CEO. He'd be the CEO of one of Indiana's biggest associations, and people out here their mind's gonna be blown because they wouldn't think of it as the American Automobile Association.
Sure.
But AAA is an association.
That's exactly right.
And you pay that just blew my mind a little bit. Because you pay your dues. I think my dues for the year were like $49.
Yep. Get a benefit.
Dude, the benefit, I got back to the airport.
Mm-hmm. I saw it.
Oh, dude.
Wild.
And it's 1 a.m. and my battery's dead. I'm in the airport parking lot. No one's picking up. And I'm like, who am I going to call? Yeah. So as an association member, I took advantage of this benefit.
Exactly right.
I mean, it wasn't like Domino's Pizza, like 30 minutes or it's free, but it was like within an hour, someone was out there jumping my car.
Yeah. But you don't think of it as an association, but it is.
Yeah. Like that's great. So like the idea of you pay dues and you get benefits.
That's exactly right. And there's a staff that has to facilitate those benefits. And that's our staff. That's the way I could summarize what we do as an industry. Is facilitate those member benefits.
And for people listening that didn't quite pick up on that, the American Automobile Association is AAA. Maybe you've heard of that. Right. Okay, so you're talking through benefits. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about some of the most unique benefits you've seen associations offer.
Usually it comes from what the members want. And so that's the first step, is listening to the members and what they want and really what their industry needs. So associations are built around the industries that they represent. And so think of any profession at all. And they usually have an association for it, representing those people and furthering the profession through the association. So unique benefits, I mean, man, I've seen some wild ones before, but I mean, it's usually industry specific.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so if there's a wild one, I mean, it's like the firefighters get...
Yeah, I have a firefighter client. So the arson task force, arson investigators, they're a client of mine. So it's
Arson
only
Investigators Association.
Arson, exactly right. The Indiana Arson Task Force.
Is that like one of the most niche?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the firefighters have multiple associations they could go into, but then you get into an industry where there's a specialty inside the industry, and they have their own association, and that's what this group does.
Yeah, because they could go to the firefighters convention. They could also be part of the firefighters association.
Yes.
And then there's this even it's like I could be a part of like the Indiana Indiana Association, but that could be a part of like the Indiana Instagrammers Association
100%.
and the Indiana Instagrammer Podcast
100%.
Association.
So you go to their convention and they're like, oh, we're on the second floor back in this corner doing our education there. That's kind of where it is, how niche you get. So pretty interesting. But yeah.
I mean, obviously meetings and events are a huge piece.
Huge.
That's like, I mean, a big part, you join an association, you get to go to the yearly thing, the
convention.
programming, right? What are some of the biggest association meetings that we're hosting here in Indianapolis?
Next year is ASAE's annual convention. That's the biggest one that's coming to town. That's a rotation.
ASA. Don't tell me what it is.
I know. This is going to be amazing if you get this.
ASAE. American?
Yep.
Sports Education? No.
Society.
American Society of Anesthesiologists.
Oh, close. I have them as well, but no.
Dang it. Who
it's
is
the
it?
American Society of Association Executives. ASAE.
This is
so
meta.
It's association.
This is meta. So you're hosting.
You ready to get your mind blown? Are you ready to get your mind blown on this?
Yeah.
When you Google ASAE convention, it's a citywide convention that comes to town. It's one of our biggest conventions to come to Indianapolis. The economic impact that is advertised for this is larger than some of the biggest things we bring to town. People put the Super Bowl in a conversation with ASAE, and we think they're absolutely berserk for doing that. Look into the economic impact, and it is on par with some of the biggest events that come to Indianapolis. It's association professionals like myself that all come to one location. They're all from around the world. They come to one location. ASAE is here in Indianapolis next year, and when it comes here, if I'm sourcing Indianapolis for my conferences for my clients, I'm seeing the city and the red carpet rolled out. So all these 5,000-6,000 people that come are with that same lens of possibly bringing their business to Indianapolis as well.
Leonard talked to me about this.
Probably.
Because, okay, so hear me out, people. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
So we are hosting the Association
for associations.
100%. Like where all the people who organize their associations, they're also in an association. It's like eating your own dog food a little bit there.
Really is.
But then so like they're like, okay, cool. People are coming. Sweet. Where this makes the significant ripple is the person who's in charge of let's say it's the Nebraska. Okay, they wouldn't do it because they hosted in Nebraska. But like whatever the anesthesiologist, right?
100%.
The person who organizes that association comes to Indy. They're like, oh my gosh, we had such a great time.
Yes.
Then they're like, we got to bring the anesthesiologist.
100%.
We got to
bring
bring
sourcing these conferences. When you look at it, we don't necessarily do this far out, but some conventions are planning in 2035 right now.
Leonard said that.
Yeah,
it was like
sourcing
the
cities.
farthest one we had out, 2033, 2034.
Wild,
like
right? So when they come next year and see Indianapolis, absolutely could get on the list for 2033, 35, 37, and we sign that business. It is a ripple effect for many, many years.
Yeah, not because it's like, oh, the association people are spending so much money like while they're in here. It's like a normal thing.
Yeah.
But it's like you bring 50,000 firefighters or 50,000 association people. Let's say you get even 500 of them. 500 of them say they want to host their event here in Indianapolis because they had such a great experience. Yeah. They tried the shrimp cocktail at St. Elmo and they're like, oh, we got to bring the anesthesiologist would love this.
Done and done.
Okay. All right, that makes a lot of sense. So when is that one? When is that
So
event?
that's next summer. End of the summer is usually when it is.
End of summer 2026. So if you are a business in downtown Indianapolis or in just any part of Indianapolis, we've got to roll the red carpet out because that's what's going to bring all the other association meetups.
Very much
They're the gatekeepers.
They are the gatekeepers.
Slash prices. Cut prices in half.
That's right.
Tire City, we're going to take a hit on this one.
Yes.
But short-term pain, long-term gain.
That's exactly it.
I mean, that's super fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a big one. Are there other big ones that are coming to town or that have just come through town?
PRI technically has a membership arm. So PRI, it's one of my favorite events that comes to town. A huge presence out in Speedway with their headquarters out there.
Does everyone know what PRI is?
Performance Racing Industry.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's put on by SEMA, right?
Yeah, they're affiliated together.
Okay.
Yeah, SEMA does their massive 100,000 person event in Las Vegas, and I believe they do it there exclusively because it's probably the only city that can host that. I mean, you might have a couple cities that can host something like that.
What's the biggest event size that we could host?
When we get over 7,500, it's probably tough.
75,000?
7,500 hotel rooms. It's all based on housing.
Okay,
housing.
sorry. So however many people can fit into.
Absolutely.
The new the new hotel
Yeah, I
opens
can't
up.
wait. That's gonna be awesome.
That'll
Yeah,
like
Signy is gonna be great.
Because what are like the top event association towns across the country?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll say Indianapolis #1 because I'm biased.
Yeah,
Obviously,
right.
I'm a homer.
But based on hotel rooms.
Based on hotel rooms, you're looking at Orlando, Las Vegas, Dallas is extremely competitive. Denver is growing and rising. They consider it this tier system. A lot of it's based on square footage of your expo hall and square footage of your meeting and event space, but certainly hotel rooms, but at a certain tier of hotel rooms as well. So, I mean, Nashville, we're hosting plenty of things in Nashville this year. I just was in Vegas last week at the Aria. I'll use that as an example real quick. Aria is a great example in Vegas because the entire convention was hosted at that one property. We did not have to go to the convention center. We just did it at the Aria. So if you host an event in Las Vegas, you can host it at multiple properties or their convention center and have it all within 15, 20 minutes.
All right, I found an article by hospitality management degrees. They seem like best 10 cities for conventions.
Yeah,
That's
perfect.
similar. This is a problem, team. We're not on this list.
Yeah,
It goes from 10 to 1, starts in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Based on number of hotel rooms. Holy, we got a ways to go.
Yeah.
23,000 hotel rooms in New Orleans.
It's wild.
Then it goes up to Phoenix, 62,000 hotel rooms.
Phoenix, Scottsdale.
Yeah.
proper, yeah.
And then it's Houston, which is, ranked higher, but a step back in hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Then this one, San Antonio's up there
Yeah,
with
they're a big
36.
convention town.
How many hotel rooms do we have? 34,000 in the metro area, but 8,300 of them downtown.
Yeah,
And the beast
yeah.
about ours is the walkability because they're all like, there's
100%.
a bunch of them that are connected to each other.
100%.
We go New York, we go Chicago, we go San Diego,
Yeah.
Atlanta, Orlando, and Las Vegas.
Yeah. So those
Las
big
Vegas has 141,000
bonkers,
rooms.
man.
That is crazy. Hey Hoosiers, let me tell you about Keller & Keller, a respected Indiana-based law firm that's here for all of us, from Evansville up to South Bend. They've been serving Hoosiers since 1936, and they really know what it means to fight for the community. These guys have recovered over $1 billion for their clients. Yes, that's billion with a B. That's a serious track record of getting results. And here's something that should really make your wallet feel good. They have a zero-fee guarantee. That means you don't pay a dime unless they win your case. Talk about peace of mind when you're hiring a lawyer. So if you've been injured here in the Hoosier State, don't hesitate to call 1-800-2-KELLER to get the support and guidance you need. They mean business. Now let's get back into the episode.
The thing too, though, about those numbers, like Chicago's deceiving to me because you've got downtown, but then Rosemont, O'Hare Airport area is killing it when it comes to convention games. So there's a lot of conventions going to the outskirts of town. Buckhead, Atlanta, we hosted an event there. I mean, Buckhead's great, but it's very far from downtown Atlanta. And so if you host downtown Atlanta at their Marriott Marquis, for example, it's not Buckhead. It's going to be a $50, $60 Uber to get up there. So Indianapolis, like you said, you're here. When you check in, you're walking to everything. And it is very unique from those top 10 that you just listed.
What are your favorite association meetings to host?
Yeah.
Or like to be downtown when they're here?
All of them are going to be educational, right? So you're in education in the expo hall from 9 to 5, if you will. It's the ones that let them in a little bit early and let them go out and see the town. So you see San Elmo's for a 4 or 5 o'clock buzz going on, and then it's just dinner at all the restaurants. They're slam packed. People are enjoying walking around downtown Indy. So some of the more social ones, it's industry specific. So the sports ones that's what gets me. I mean, I love seeing that for sure. And the activations, because you can go and activate Gainbridge for an offsite, and they can open up that show floor, and you can be in suites and different things, like maybe a concert at one of the venues. Those are really cool when they can add in venues around town.
Wait, like some associations are hosting concerts for their association meeting?
Absolutely. So last year in Cleveland, ASAE, I can't give the details out because it's still in the planning. I'll use Cleveland as the example last year. I go there, opening night, we had a Nelly concert on the floor of the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So we were all on the floor, and literally Nelly came in for a concert. Totally random. No idea where they got Nelly to come in on, probably budget, and he killed it. It was a great show.
Dude,
but we had
a
private concert just for us. Everybody's in suits and name badges watching Nelly up on stage. It was wild.
It's getting hot in
100%.
here. So take off your suit jacket. Right. Yeah, there we go.
I know.
That's fun.
Yeah,
okay,
it is,
so
it is.
Gainbridge, and you're gonna have I'm trying, like Ludacris is coming to town to play the private show.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sleeping on the association for association people, but
man,
all
a lot
right.
of people are.
So as you continue to go, like, what associate? It just does seem stale. It seems like an older thing to do. I don't know how many AAA. I'm part of that association.
Right.
But like in the moment, my current headspace, I want you to convince me.
Yeah.
I'm not like in the association for podcasters. I'm not.
Right.
in the Association for Content Creators. What is the value prop for an association in 2025?
Value prop is exactly what you said. So there is a need. Clearly, if you're not in one or joining one right now, there should be one, and I'm sure there is one. But the value prop is that you get the network across the country, if not the globe, when you're in these associations, when you're being able to network with them, right? It's also the convention. When you come to the convention, the design would be education and cutting edge technology and bringing all your stuff. I just saw the Rode unboxing, which was awesome, by the way, all your new gear. As an example, they'd have a massive booth next to all the other technology that you're a prospective buyer for, right? So you get a one-stop shop to go to that trade show floor and see the 7 companies that you buy from pitch their brand new products or products that are cutting edge. Otherwise, you're going to have to schedule that time, or you're going to have to get with a vendor one-on-one. This is 2 or 3 days where you get your entire year's worth of everything you need in one exposure opportunity. That's the value prop of an association.
I might need to look for like the creator association.
Guarantee there's one
there.
out there.
Yeah, and it's probably like, this is the type of industry that would be like, I got to go spend 5 days in LA and spend 10 grand.
Exactly right. Exactly. Let's bring it to Indy.
Yeah, right. Let's bring the Creators Association meet up to Indianapolis.
100%.
I'll host you. We'll see the town. It would be great. Okay, so what makes Indiana such a good place to headquarter associations and nonprofits?
Yeah, it's not DC and it's not Chicago. That's the big one, right?
Okay.
It's centrally located. We're bringing a ton of business here from our conventions and whatnot. Our nonstop flights continue to grow. That's another variable for hosting events. It's just easy to get to, easy to access. Workforce is here. Both IU downtown and certainly IU Bloomington have a world-renowned nonprofit management program. And so those students are going to be looking for jobs. Many of them go to Chicago, go to DC, get out to those big booming nonprofit towns. We can have them right here. We can keep those people here in town working for our nonprofits that aren't just Indiana, but a global impact that are based here in Indiana.
Yeah, when your clients are considering places to host their events, like what are their perspectives on Indianapolis? And like what factors go into determining where you're going to host?
Our conversations are not uncommon among the board, no matter the content that we're trying to drive. Usually the conversation is the access and availability to get there. Everyone, which is hilarious when you think about this planning, everyone wants that nightlife and the booming events and things that go on. If you're in a convention and you're involved in the convention, you are worn out by 8, 9 o'clock. You're going to go get a good meal, but people that talk about, we need all this stuff, we need to be in Vegas, we need to be in Orlando. You don't have time to go actually see those cities. I went to Aria last Monday for a convention. I never stepped foot outside of Aria. I literally flew in, went to the convention. That's just the design of it because you're so cram-packed with your schedule. When I say that, Indianapolis doesn't seem that off from these other cities when it comes to, I want a good meal, I want to maybe go see a show or a Pacers game or something else going on. We have plenty to do in a short amount of time that you're here. That's why the draw for Indianapolis for me is there, because we've got just enough for you to get a taste of what we have going on and then get you back home.
Yeah, everyone, I don't know. Yeah, it's like you think you take your association to Vegas and it's like, are you really popping bottles at the club every night?
No.
Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly right. They're not. They're not. So the perception is there and the lure of these big cities are there. But when our convention Visit Indy does a phenomenal job, by far one of the better outfits in the country when it comes to destinations. And they'll even argue this point too when trying to sell the city. It's a memorable conference when you get here. It really is. It leaves a lasting impression on people. I constantly run into people when I say I'm from Indianapolis. Oh, I went to a convention a couple years ago. Great time, good stuff. It just is. They don't say the same thing about multiple cities around the country.
Yeah. What are we missing? What could take us to like the number one event, convention, meetup city in the world?
Yeah, our meeting planners in our city, they've answered those questions. So they've talked about this stuff for decades, and especially the last 10 years, and they're answering those questions by visually building it right now. I mean, the Signia going up, all these other satellite hotels, the restaurants, the entertainment districts that we're building in Indianapolis. They're listening, and they're taking action to fix this and make it better. So in 3 years, I'm eager and excited to get downtown and have another meeting because it's going to be different than it is today.
I love it. And it's like we do continue to just get better.
We do.
Better.
We really do. Georgia Street even. I mean, everything that's going on is going to be great.
The association, ASAE is what?
The American Society of Association Executives.
The American Society of Association Executives. If you are a part of ASAE and you see this clip and you want recommendations on how to take your association meetup in Indianapolis from good to great,
Yeah.
hit us up.
That's right.
I'll give you all my recommendations of the best spots around town that are going to give them not just there are some good chain restaurants, but like we're going to give you the locally owned, like these are the gems of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And I want to ask if you were planning the biggest association that Indianapolis or the big, what do you call those? Is it a convention?
Usually annual meetings.
You're hosting the biggest annual meeting for the biggest association that Indianapolis can hold comfortably.
Yeah.
What does that plan look like? They come in Thursday, leaving Sunday. Plan it out for them.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm planning one next year. I'm bringing in, it's called the Great Lakes Capital Connection. It's business, bankers, it's private investors. It's that group. It's called the Association of Corporate Growth. And we're bringing in 7 city chapters to Indianapolis to host our event next year. So we're hosting at the JW Marriott. Use the question that you just asked me. Get them to the JW. Plan plenty of offsite meetings. Plan all their meetings at the JW.
Yeah, so you're gonna have have like the educational pieces.
Correct,
like,
yeah.
Is there a convention hall? Is there an exhibit hall or something?
All that in the JW. We were able to keep it all there, which is
how big is this group?
This group, there'll be about 1,000 people who will come to this meeting.
And then, because if you need it and you're a really big one, then you start to use the convention center space.
Yeah, absolutely. So
what does it cost to rent one of the halls in the convention center?
Man, it just truly all depends. It all depends. I mean, that meeting, for context, that'll be $1 million meeting. For our 1,000
in the JW?
Yeah, overall. And that's not just going to them for costs. That's just everything that it takes to run this entire convention.
Okay.
It's $1 million meeting. So just for context, I mean, some of these meetings get to
I wonder the Indy Mini host has their exhibit in one of the halls. I'm I always wonder what does it cost to rent this? Someone from the convention center wants to tell me what it costs to rent that.
That's right.
Just for my own knowledge, and maybe I want to do something crazy there sometime, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay,
right.
So you get them there on Thursday. You obviously have all your programming and stuff, like you're doing some offsite meetings, but the biggest meetings will be at the JW.
At the JW.
Then it's like what? But like that's table stakes, right? Like you got your baseline. Like they get to the airport, it's easy, blah 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 blah. You get your Uber, you show up at JW, great. There might be a cool graphic up on the hotel, who knows? But then how do you really set it apart?
What we do is work with the high-end sponsors that want the restaurant buyouts, especially for this convention. So I'm already starting to work with the best spots, all the hidden gems, if you will, downtown. I'm starting to get in with all of them to be able to say, hey, I've got X bank or X firm that wants to buy out
and this
your
is a
entire
sponsor
place.
of the thing,
Correct.
the meetup.
Believe it or not, St. Elmo's, right, or any of those properties will be the draw because it always is.
Yeah.
And so if it's, hey, X bank already signed on to it, they have the exclusive rights. It's roped off and you cannot get in unless you have the invite from them to access this private event.
And is it they pay for dinner?
Exactly right. It's all inclusive. It's dinner, drinks, it's all of it.
Okay, so if you're coming to town, you're an association, and you want a good tour guide, just get me on those lists.
That's right.
That's all I need.
That's right.
So they're going to St. Elmo. I can't imagine what sponsorship dinner costs at St. Elmo.
Wild.
But it's totally worth it.
It is.
Especially if you want to be like, hey, we're going to show you the best that Indy has to offer, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I just saw a clip of Shane Gillis talking about Indianapolis. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
We went to St. Elmo's Steakhouse in Indianapolis, and then the waiter comes over, and I was like, don't spoil it. And he was like, it's the hottest cocktail sauce in the world. And I was like, that was what I was talking about. Guard dog cowered it out. And we kept being like, all right, dude, get it for real. We've all done it. Like, I got it and almost died. And then guard dog took a big one, and I was like, all right, this is it. As soon as he picks it up, 90% falls off. He's like, what'd I do?
He ashed the shrimp.
And now he ashed. Then I went to the airport the next day, and there's one there, and I ate some at the airport. I ate some before departure at like 11 a.m. I was like,
that is the face, though. That's
It's
the face.
so true.
Can I tell you my St. Elmo story real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm obviously born and raised, I told you that, in Indianapolis. So freshman year at college, I used my entire paycheck to take a girl on a date and just go all out and say, hey, I'm going to impress this girl, right? Go to St. Elmo's, get a table. I had never been there. So I've been to Harry and Izzy's and others, but I'd never been to St. Elmo's. It's first experience there. I get the shrimp cocktail. I kind of knew about it, but I didn't dig in on this stuff. But man, I go straight in and my tears on a date and just the whole face. So I had to get up and go to the bathroom and I thought that I had got duped. I thought it was a bad recipe or something like that. I think a lot of people probably do when they first do it, not knowing. But then once you get used to it, you know what's coming. But man, that was so embarrassing on a first date.
On a first date?
First date. First impression.
You took her to St. Elmo.
I did, and I never made that mistake again.
Yeah, right. You gotta, hey, ma'am, they have to earn St. Elmo, right?
I know.
But hey, I respect it. You go there, she's on the phone. Yeah, he cried within 5 minutes of us being there.
That's
Oh my
exactly
God.
right.
I wonder how often someone comes in and is like, oh, I can handle it. And then like it just shocks them.
Absolutely.
It has to happen a lot. Okay, so as you're planning this out, so you're doing restaurant buyouts.
Restaurant
what are some of
buyouts
what
for
are
it.
some of people's favorite restaurants? Obviously you said St. Elmo, Harry and Izzy, that type of place.
I mean, it depends on the clientele. This clientele, think of it finance type business professional. So a lot of just standing and cocktail table type networking, right? Just bouncing around table to table. So I'm looking at that in any city that we go to, but in Indianapolis, I'm specifically looking for that type of buyout. So a lot of restaurants will try to get you to do 8 tops or 10 top round tables. This group does not like that. They do not want to be sat down and talk to the same 3 people. They want to work the room. So I have to think about that in an environment. And can we possibly get creative and have a host site build that out for us? Maybe move some of the round tables out and put just the high boy cocktail tables up for us. And if they can, great. And we buy it out.
Okay, so you're working on that. What are the other cool pieces? I mean, like good restaurants.
Yeah.
Again, you're still at like I think table stakes.
Yeah, for sure.
Of like, but how do you really like? Hey, we want Indianapolis to host this forever.
Yeah, take it to the next level. A lot of it's really the keynote speakers, and they love coming to Indianapolis. So when we can get those keynote speakers to come in, if we can leverage our people here and make that Indiana tie fantastic. But if we can't, then are there things that we can do that's unique? I.e., work with the track to get people out there and see the updates and see, if we do the Kiss the Bricks tour, if we can do the behind the scenes of the new museum, it's
sweet,
fantastic.
Yeah,
and I mean from the JW or one of the downtown properties is just a 15-minute shuttle ride over there. So those are the things that we're able to do that's a little bit different. And again, our ease in Indianapolis to be able to transport people within 20 minutes of the cool stuff is so unique. Because you can't do that in every city.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend an hour on a bus, leaving a hotel, going to your offsite.
What's the worst city that gets the most association meetups?
Man, I got to be careful because this goes out, right? So I got to be careful. But in terms of like the worst offsites that I've experienced,
Or just like cities where it's just hard.
quite frankly, it's the ones that are the draw on that list. It's the big cities because I find myself stuck in traffic or on a boat, on a bus, and it's like it's,
On a boat?
Oh yeah.
Where are you on a boat at?
San Antonio Canal seems great on the surface until you're on the little water traffic jam trying to get down the river. It's not what it usually it's fine, but sometimes you get in a little bit of a pickle when it comes to congestion out there.
Yeah, I'm stuck on a boat.
Yeah. So I mean, New York, we've done stuff in Jersey City, and shuttling people over to New York. We advertise it as New York City. You're in Jersey. You're at the Hyatt Regency in Jersey. So transporting people over to the city. I know. Same with Atlanta. I mean, if you're a downtown property or you're in Buckhead trying to get to a game downtown, it can be a catastrophe. So all those things we have to think about when planning an event. But again, Indy and similar cities are just fantastic for being able to host everybody downtown.
I love it. If there was like one, like the granddaddy of all association annual meetings you could host, what would it be?
It would probably be some of the high-end medical, so like the orthopedic surgeons convention. For the sports academy, we're helping host that in Nashville, Tennessee this year. That would be phenomenal, and I say that because they come with high expectations. Everyone wants great service. The restaurants step up. Everyone in town steps up. Put on a good show because you have orthopedic surgeons coming to your town. So they
it's like, dude, this is the thing. If I was in Nashville at the orthopedic surgeons convention, I'm 100% making it out to Broadway.
I know.
Like
I know.
So it's like,
I know, but,
it's like if the nightlife is like, as we continue to develop, get more of that live music feel, more stuff like that can come here.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because it's like, it's like maybe I'm not bottle service at the club in Vegas, but like, man, I do love Broadway.
I know. It is nice. It is nice. But you're right. I mean, there's those quick hits. So when I think of it, you want the kind of the 3-hour period of leaving the hotel. You've got dinner, some form of entertainment that's a quick hit, and then back to the hotel. Usually we'll fill the bucket of what a good convention can do. So we're trying to find that sweet spot.
Biggest recommendation for people that are out of town coming in for an association meetup?
Yeah, it's get out of the just general downtown. If it's going to see Mass Ave, if it's getting up to Broad Ripple, if it's going to see Fisher's and the event center up there to see one of our amateur sporting events, those things.
This is kind of like funny because we said in other cities don't leave the area.
I know.
But in Indy, the traffic is usually not bad. You can get all these places pretty quickly.
You can, for sure.
Especially
Fisher's
like,
might be a stretch for downtown. But yeah, I mean, if you get to certainly Mass Ave's walkable. I've sent people there for great recommendations, and they just walk through the War Memorial area and just have a nice walk to where they're
I bet
going.
like the outer limit of walkability, it's like you could walk to like Bottle Works.
Yeah,
it's not
that's
too
fair.
bad.
Yeah.
it's far.
Yeah.
It'll take a little bit, or you Uber over there.
Yep.
And it's like, that's like, okay, you can go explore that. It's all still in like the downtown area
Yeah,
for sure.
So that's what I would say. Our canal. I mean, a lot of people will ask, like, the hotel gym is slam packed in the morning. What can I do? Go jog the canal or walk the canal. Get out there.
yeah.
Most people don't even know it exists.
Dude, the canals, it's sweet.
It
I've
is.
done a decent
It
amount of runs. We did the Santa Hustle half marathon, and they take you around the canal like in a real race.
Nice.
It was really cool to just like have like a structured race that went through there.
Yeah,
very
that's
fun.
cool.
Awesome, man. Well, we're kind of getting towards the end. I have some fun questions.
sounds good.
What advice would you give to people that want to pursue the nonprofit management space, that want to get into that? And I mean, obviously you have to do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
It's not usually the most like lucrative, but that's not why you do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I think it's, if you're pursuing career in marketing, communications, that aspect, getting in with associations can be extremely unique because you find yourself accelerating into director level roles and higher roles quicker. So I see a lot of that. So for example, if you're in for-profit design or at an ad agency, you have these different layers of things that at a nonprofit you don't have people there to force you into those different layers. You have to do it all yourself, right? Usually. So that's a big recommendation I have, especially mid-career, that next step. If you get a good starting point somewhere and then come over in the nonprofit space, you get a lot of autonomy, a lot of freedom to just be creative and do your thing.
It's kind of like running startups, sort of.
It is. It absolutely is. It feels that startup feel is most of the nonprofits that I've worked with. You're in that entrepreneurial environment because you do have to create things on your own and make it happen. So I like that. There's not really the red tape in terms of the bureaucracy of most big groups that you're working with. You cut right through that and you get work done, and you're creative and autonomous, which I really like. And it goes into that communication side, but also finance side, or if it's event planning, it's just, again, any department, if you will, that you jump into, you have autonomy to do what you want and run with it.
How long have you been in Indy?
My whole life. Yeah, I've lived, born and raised on the south side.
Then downtown for
downtown.
I love it.
For college, all that stuff,
Man, okay, so I do need to get some more like south side recs, like especially once you get, I mean, literally south of like, I'm probably like out of my element. Like Dukes is like the furthest south I probably make it. Okay. I mean, do you have like good recommendations these are for locals that happen to want to go explore the south side?
The Oak and Barrel type stuff. That's one.
Is
of
that
the
down in
OGs.
Greenwood?
Down in man, that is truly one of the first staples of its kind. I mean, it really is. When you go in there, the food, the beer, just the history behind it.
How old is Oak and Barrel?
30 years, probably more than that. I mean, I would say the 90s, probably.
No way, really?
Yeah, I believe.
Oh,
so.
because it was like a brew pub like back in the day.
Yeah, so just kind of the ones that lasted through the the rise and fall of some
Their
of the
menu is
microbreweries.
literally just their
The website is
their
the
website
menu.
is
Yeah,
literally
that's
their menu.
awesome.
Okay, no, here we go. The about.
Definitely
Through
one of them.
30 years of creating award-winning food, beer, the Oak and Barrel has remained Indiana's premier must-visit brew pub.
Hey.
The restaurant includes a family section, 2 bars, the outside dining area, and a small banquet facility. You can do an off-site.
That's it.
There you go.
You really can. Yeah. That's a
Oak
solid
and Barrel
one.
down in Greenwood. That's a good one.
Yeah. Some of those.
Any other spots, like things to do south side? Like everyone comes to Carmel, everyone goes to the north side.
I know.
But like there's just a little pocket of cool stuff growing down in Greenwood.
And I was not even Greenwood. If you go even further south, I was in Franklin a couple of weeks ago. The things that Franklin, Indiana is doing, it's unbelievable. When you jump off the highway, that used to be just nothing. But now, I mean, they're really investing a ton in Franklin.
In their like downtown like square
they're doing
area.
concerts downtown too now. And I mean, it's a pretty cool vibe down there.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you work with people from all over that, you're trying to. Well, your job isn't to convince them to come to Indianapolis, but that's a
Right.
piece of it, right?
It always is, yeah.
And so as people are considering that, like you talk to them a lot about what Indiana's really like because you live here.
Yeah.
What's something the world needs to know about Indiana?
It's hard to say that life is easy for anybody, right? But all the traveling that I do, when I land in Indianapolis and I get home, it's the home feeling that I'm comfortable because I'm home. But it does just seem like we've got it a little easier than others in terms of you get some freedom. You can breathe a little bit more. You're not fighting to open a door because there's a line. I mean, you can find a parking spot at the majority of places you're going to go to. I mean, it's just a little bit easier to live in Indiana in the Midwest for me.
We're the new Big Easy right
It
here,
is,
baby.
man. It
Indianapolis.
is.
That's
It
a
is.
really good answer because it's like less stress.
It
like
is.
I know when I land in any major city, it's like your Uber will be here in 45 minutes
Right.
and you're not really sure where it's going to be and you don't know where to go. And it's like you follow the signs at Indy and it's like someone picks you up in like 2 minutes.
That's it.
It's
That's
great.
it. Yeah.
Next, this is where you get to uncover some of those secrets.
Okay.
Obviously, we talked about Oak and Barrel. I would prefer maybe we don't use that one for this.
Yeah.
So what's a hidden gem in Indiana?
I'm big on these. Everybody wants to say the Michelin restaurants, but the Beard restaurants. Have you dug into this?
Not
James
all of it.
Beard restaurants.
No.
There's 2 in Indiana, I believe. So one is St. Elmo's that won it, and the second is down by Louisville, down in a really small town, but it's a mom and pop, family-owned restaurant that I just found off the beaten path, and I'm like, people should know about this. I started doing research and realizing they're actually an award-winning restaurant down in southern Indiana.
Is it the one in Oldenburg?
Yes.
Wagner's?
Yeah.
Not towards Louisville. That's towards Cincinnati.
Okay, the other way.
Wagner's
Okay,
Village.
yeah. That's right.
Wagner's Village.
Man,
They're a James Beard Award winning.
James Beard restaurant.
In the American Classics
Yeah.
category, the award recognizes locally owned restaurants with timeless appeal and beloved regional food that reflects the character of its community. There's a lot of nominated, like Bluebeard's been nominated, I believe, and but this is like James Beard Award winners.
Yeah, that's right. I think the only 2 would be Wagner's and St. Elmo's, I believe.
When is and it's like once you win it, are you good or do you have to like go back every year?
Yeah, it's different categories, different things. Good restaurants like that. I usually am somewhat of a foodie when it comes to when I'm traveling. So Evansville's got some really cool stuff. Some German heritage down there. That's really good German food. Fort Wayne's food scene is very kind of low key.
It's slept on.
It is. It really is. So there's some good stuff up there. Columbia City, even. Can you call Columbia City a suburb of?
No, it's a different place. But wait, what's in Columbia City?
I'll send you the restaurants, but I've just traveling through the area. There's some stops along the way that are just really good food that people just don't really even think of when they think of Indiana. But that Wagner's, man, that blew my mind. And then looking into it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not surprised that they are actually an award.
Have you been there?
Restaurant. Yeah, it was absolutely
fried chicken.
It must have.
You have to get the fried chicken at Wagner's.
I think it's like, kind of double fried. Theirs is like, you can actually tell that it actually is.
Yeah, and it's like, and they do, here's how long pan frying in hog fat. Like that's what it looks like. It's crazy.
It is.
So there's 2 James Beard award-winning restaurants right here in Indiana. One, the iconic St. Elmo Steakhouse in downtown Indianapolis. The other, you'll never get this, right? You just shared this with me. It's incredible. Where's number 2 at?
Oldenburg, Indiana.
Oldenburg. Wagner's Village Inn, known for long pan frying their chicken in hog fat.
That's right.
It looks phenomenal. Next time I'm down there, my girlfriend's family lives in Batesville.
Yeah.
Which is like, right. And I was like,
is.
I knew this.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about it and I was like, oh, I don't really know. I knew this answer. Thank you so much. We have one final question for
Sounds
you.
good.
The last thing, this is how we find new guests and just Hoosiers to know about. Who's a Hoosier we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
Andrew Elsner from Spot Freight.
No.
Have you done anything on Spot Freight?
No.
And that's one of my favorite companies to watch because their expansion and their growth. It's right here in Indiana, and they're just blowing up all over. But
yeah, they have that awesome spot at district above a district tap, right?
I think. Well, I think they moved on to Illinois Street. They had to expand. I mean, they were just expanding. So I would say Andrew. He came to mind when you asked me that question.
Yeah,
so,
I love that.
The guys at Spot are just doing some really phenomenal things.
Heck yeah, Andrew, you're going to be hearing from my
That's
people, right? Cory, thanks so much for coming on. Tell us about all of the cool things, associations, the history of that, the annual meetings that we want to host right here in Indianapolis, and the end of next summer. This is the big thing that everyone needs to remember. The American Society of Association Executives, ASAE, is coming to town.
Yep.
That took me way too long to memorize. They're coming to town, and that can make if we pull out all the stuff, if we roll out the red carpet for these people, this could affect Indianapolis for the next decade.
Absolutely.
One weekend to shape a decade.
That's right.
Leonard, you guys can use that logo. One weekend to shape a decade.
Love it.
Rally the troops. Yep. Let's show out and let's host a lot more cool stuff here in Indianapolis. Cool. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Get In. If you like what you heard, make sure you leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all my gear recommendations at sweetwater.com. If you want a behind the scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.